Now at 6, Central Park in Carthage, Missouri held an unveiling for a new park concept. We'll have details. Plus, how a local breastfeeding group is celebrating World Breastfeeding Week. And Pittsburgh organizations team up with Walmart in preparation for the school year.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Carter Park in Carthage celebrates the unveiling of a new park concept. Participants were able to see how the new park is going to look like in about 5 years. After unveiling, 7 teams gathered to play in a soccer tournament, which collects money to the park renovation. We'll have more about this at KOAM News at 10. Chi-Chi Mama's breastfeeding group celebrated the World Breastfeeding Week today in Joplin. The annual breastfeeding fair with local agencies attending gathered local families to get more information and support for breastfeeding. A lactation consultant from Joplin says mothers should get more support when breastfeeding because the breastfeeding journey can be difficult.
Support's really important. It helps give the mom confidence. It helps her be successful in breastfeeding.
Chi-Chi Mama's breastfeeding group will start meeting quarterly starting in November. Pregnant and breastfeeding mothers are welcome to join. The Rotary Club volunteers in Pittsburgh were collecting school supplies with the Salvation Army in front of Walmart today. The supplies are distributed by the Pittsburgh Community School District to students in the community. Rotary Club volunteer Jeff Elliott thinks that this is necessary because the prices in general are going up.
These days, more and more people need just a little bit of assistance, and this is one way to do it. Prices are challenging across from school supplies to gas to food, and this is just one way for us to contribute and help those folks that could use a little leg up.
The Salvation Army Stuff the Bus school supply drive will take place at more than 4,500 Walmart stores across the country. You can find a full list of 4 state organizations hosting their own back-to-school events for back-to-school supplies on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Our website will also include back-to-school events in the area. You can also download the KOAM News Now mobile app to find the closest back-to-school bash near you. It's available free of charge in the Apple Store and in the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. And now, Sam Lane joins us for the first look at the weather.
Thank you very much, Jalen. It was another hot one across the 4-state area as we start the month of August. It looks like a repeat of July around here. We do have a thunder shower on tower cam right now off to the north and east of Joplin. We'll take a look at that in radar in just a moment. But look at the high today, 99, which was 8 degrees above the normals of 91 and only 6 degrees away from the record of 105. And we don't like setting records around here in the summertime. Let's take a look at the storm tracker. You can see that we have a heat advisory still in effect for all of the area. This goes until 8 o'clock tonight and then probably tomorrow and Tuesday, right on into Wednesday, but we'll get to that in our forecast. I do want to show you radar because there are some thunder showers developing out there. Let's zoom in and show you a little bit closer in view around Mount Vernon, up to Greenfield, also around Monette in northern Berry County, a few thunder showers there. We'll have the forecast, which has a chance of rain in it, coming up in just a few short minutes.
Federal authorities have charged a Central Missouri man accused of taking a weapon with him to the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol. 36-year-old Jared Thomas Barger of Centralia was arrested in Osage Beach, Missouri, and the U.S. Justice Department said. He was charged with entering a restricted building or grounds with a weapon and unlawful possession of a firearm on Capitol grounds or buildings, along with related misdemeanors. Barger is the 23rd Missourian charged in connection to the January 6th insurrection, the Kansas City Star reported. He is not accused of entering the Capitol building. Federal documents allege Barger took a 9mm semi-automatic pistol with him to the rally, then to the Capitol. Barger did not have a license to carry a weapon in the District of Columbia. The nationwide teacher shortage is forcing school districts in Kansas and Missouri to make some big changes, including 4-day weeks for some and hefty sign-on bonuses for new employees. The Missouri Department of Education and Secondary Education says there were more than 3,000 in-state teaching positions that had to be left vacant or filled by unqualified candidates last school year. The state board voted in June to allow potential teachers to qualify for a certificate if they miss 1 to 4 questions on the certification exam. Around 550 teachers missed the qualifying score but had already completed the accredited program. Governor Mike Parson approved nearly $250 million to increase minimum pay for Missouri teachers to $38,000, where the state directly pays for 70% of that. The National Education Association says the national average starting wage for educators is around $41,000. We now take this time to honor one of our 4 state heroes. Jamie Lane served in the Navy in the USS America CV-66 from 1995 to 1996. He earned a plethora of medals, including the National Defense Service Medal, Southwest Asia Service Medal, and NATO Medal, and others. To Seaman Jamie Allen, we thank you, our 4 state hero. Up next, how the FDA is finding new ways to treat breast cancer, and how Americans racked up over $40 billion in debts for the month of June. The FDA has approved medication that aims to treat a newly recognized type of breast cancer called HER2-low. It's for women with advanced breast cancer that can't be surgically removed or has spread to other parts of their body. In clinical trials, HER2 nearly doubled the window of the time women could live with their cancer and not get any worse. The FDA says cancer patients are eligible for HER2 if their cancer has spread beyond the breast and they've already received standard chemotherapy, or if their cancer returned within 6 months of completing chemotherapy. Why your kids need a full night's sleep, plus growing concern over the spread of monkeypox. Elise Preston has a look at some of this week's top health stories.
The Biden administration has declared monkeypox a national public health emergency. The move means the government will release federal funding and resources to fight the virus, which spreads through prolonged skin-to-skin contact. Monkeypox has been detected in nearly every state in the country. A study published in the journal Hypertension says healthcare providers should measure blood pressure in both of a patient's arms. They should then use the higher of the 2 readings to determine if a hypertension diagnosis is warranted. The study's authors said widespread adoption of the practice would lead to more people getting the treatment they need to keep their blood pressure within a healthy range. And elementary school kids who get less than 9 hours of sleep may experience a negative impact on their cognitive development. A new study by the University of Maryland School of Medicine finds differences in certain brain regions for kids who don't get the recommended 9 to 12 hours of sleep per night. Research links inadequate sleep to cognitive difficulties with memory and problem solving. Those are some of the week's top health stories. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
It's going to be a lot more affordable to become a Tesla stockholder. At Thursday's shareholder meeting, the electric automaker officially announced a 3-for-1 stock split. With Friday's stock closing price of $865, the post-split price per share would be about $288. Tesla says the move would allow its employees to have more flexibility in managing their equity in the company. The split takes effect on August 25th, which is when the stock will begin trading at its new lower share price. Elon Musk's company made another stock split as recently as 2020. As Americans navigate a 4-decade high in inflation, they're piling up debt at a greater rate than economists were predicting. $40.1 billion of debt was reported in June, a spike from May's revised number of $23.8 billion. The Federal Reserve says borrowing grew by more than 10% compared to 6.3% in May. Revolving debt, most notably marked by credit card balances, jumped by 16% in June. Non-revolving debt such as car and student loans is up by nearly 9%. Across the board, non-housing related debt saw its largest increase in 6 years, $103 billion in the second quarter. Taiwan's defense ministry released handout photos below showing the Taiwanese Air Force utilizing the Patriot 3 anti-ballistic missile defense system to monitor the activities of the Chinese military. Today, Taiwan's defense ministry said in a statement, that 20 Chinese warplanes and 14 Chinese vessels were detected operating around the Taiwan Strait. Taiwan's military broadcasted warnings, deployed combat air patrol and naval vessels, and activated land-based missile systems in response, according to the ministry. The Chinese military has yet issued a statement on the purpose of Saturday's drills. The military drills were announced within an hour after U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi landed in Taiwan on Tuesday night. Pittsburgh Little League still fighting to stay alive for a chance at the Little League World Series.
And we have some rain on the radar, and more is on the way. I'll tell you when we come back.
It's the 50th.
And the heat just rolls on. We've had a warm week all week, and now we're starting the weekend, and it's still hot out there. But there are some changes on the horizon, and I think you're going to like it. Right now, let's take a look at the Seneca, Missouri. The Indigo Sky Casino and Resort Skycam. It looks pretty nice out there. Just a few cumulus. It, of course, is hot down there in Seneca, just like it is here in Joplin. Speaking of hot, here it is. This week so far in the month of August, it's been right at or above normal all week long, with the 102 on Wednesday, 94 on Thursday, and of course we got close to the century mark today with a high of 99, so that means 6 days already above normal. And if my forecast verifies, it looks like maybe 1 day in half the month will be below normal, but we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. Right now it's certainly toasty out there. 101 in Yates Center, 99 in Independence, Parsons, 101 in Chanute, but notice off to the east, a little bit cooler for our friends in Stockton with a rain-cooled thunder shower in the area. It's only 86, 89 down in Cassville currently right now. Dew points, they're still high in the upper 60s to lower 70s across the area, so it makes it feel kind of sticky to muggy out there, but the moisture in the air is helping with those thunderstorms around the area. And when you factor in the dew point, this is what it feels like right now. Do I really have to show this map? 104 in Webb City, 104 in Pittsburgh, 104 in Yates Center for some of the warmest readings. 99 is what it feels like right now over in Mount Vernon. And of course, the drought continues across the four-state area. Everyone is dry, and some areas in the red here are in extreme drought. But it looks like we may have some changes in our forecast. You can see that on Skycam right now. A thunder shower off to the north and east, and also just to the east. Right now in Joplin, it's 96 degrees with the south wind at 13, but it feels awful out there at 104 because the dew point is up there at 71 degrees. All right, let's take a look at the radar. You can see those showers off to the east near Monette, spotting up there on the radar this afternoon. And if we take a little bit closer in view, you can see those scattered showers south of Greenfield, right around Mount Vernon, extending on down into northern Berry County near Cassville. Your future track looks like this. For this evening, we're going to see mild conditions, southerly winds continuing across the area. Those thunderstorms will start to diminish after sunset. But notice off to the north and west, we have a cold front that's going to be moving down into our area. And by Monday, it's going to be developing and moving into the northwestern parts of our area with temperatures in the mid-70s. And then as we go into Monday afternoon, we're going to see temperatures in the mid-90s. And then the front moves through our area by Tuesday morning, turns stationary. So we're going to keep the chances of showers and thunderstorms in our forecast for a little bit. Speaking of forecast on rain, here's the rainfall totals expected across our area. If this verifies, this will be very nice, with most areas getting around ½ an inch of rain by the time all is said and done. All right, your 7-day forecast looks like this. 96 tomorrow, 94 on Monday, 87, believe it or not, on Tuesday, and then we go right back into the heat by the time we go into next weekend. So a little bit of a break, Jalen, but not much of one.
Well, I'm just happy to see some potential rain on the forecast.
Me too. I think everyone is.
The month of July, it seemed as if that was nowhere to be seen.
Absolutely. Hopefully we'll turn it around this month.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Sam. Well, Jacob is here now with sports. Pittsburgh Little League aims to stay alive in the regional tournament, you know, fighting for the chance to go to Little League World Series.
Of course, Pittsburgh on the field today against Nebraska Kearney in Indianapolis. We'll have highlights from that one. The winner is moving on, and the loser goes home. That and more next. The Pittsburgh Little League baseball team is playing in the Midwest Regional Tournament in Indianapolis this weekend. Now, Pittsburgh dropped their tournament opener yesterday, falling to Iowa 10-3. Now, today, They aim to stay alive against Kearney, Nebraska. It was a quick start for Pittsburgh today. First batter of the game, Bryson Ferris, drives one over the outfielder's head out there. It's waved around second. The throw to third is off. Ferris in there safely. Next batter, Hudson Harrett, tough roller to third. No play there. Ferris scores. Pittsburgh gets the first run of the afternoon. To the third now, Gabe Brown hammers this one to left center, bounces all the way to the wall. Landon Profit rounds third, slides home safely. RBI double for Brown makes it 2-0. But moments later, Jeremiah Latimer with 2 on gets this one by the third baseman. Both runners will come around to score. Pittsburgh gets 4 runs in the third inning. How about this? Bottom 3, Kearney with a man on first, but Hudson Harrett behind the plate. Got him leaning. Picks him off. Great throw. But pitcher Gabe Brown, he's the story of the day, man. Still on the mound to close it out in the 6th. Brown throws a no-hitter today. 82 pitches, 8 strikeouts. Pittsburgh stays alive in Indy, beating Kearney 7-0. The Kansas City Royals host the Boston Red Sox tonight for Game 3 of their 4-game series. The two teams have split the first 2 games of the series after Boston took Game 2 last night 7-4. Daniel Lynch getting the start on the mound this evening for Kansas City. The game is just getting started with no score in the first inning. We'll have highlights from this one right here tonight at 10. As for the St. Louis Cardinals, they're kind of hot right now. The Cards host the Yankees for Game 2 of their series tonight, aiming for their 6th consecutive win. That one is also just getting started with no score in the first. The Kansas City Chiefs will play their first preseason game of the year next Saturday on the road against the Chicago Bears. And when they do hit the field this season, they'll have quite a few new faces on the defensive side, including rookie cornerback Trent McDuffie. Now, the first-round pick talked after practice this morning about training camp and getting to face one of the best offenses in the league every day in practice.
The competition, especially in the defense, is just overall as a team has been huge. Going against guys like Patrick Mahomes and offensive coordinator, where this offense is a high-scoring, high down-the-field stretch offense. And as DBs especially, that gives us something to prove because we go out there every day knowing that we're going to have to compete against the best receivers, against the best quarterback, and make plays. So it just adds the confidence and the competition to everyday practice.
I've always wondered about that, facing guys like Patrick Mahomes in practice. Everything else, it's like a bat weight, man. Everything else has to seem a little easier, right?
So they've got Trent McDuffie, Juan Thornhill, L'Jarius Sneed,
Have a chance to be good over there.
Johnson. Secondary is probably going to be just all right this year.
Looking forward to seeing.
All right, sounds good. We'll be right back. If you're ever on the go and still want to be able to watch our newscast live, just download the KOAM Plus app. It's available free of charge on the App Store of your choice. Just search KOAM Plus. It took well more than 300 years, but the last woman convicted during the Salem, Massachusetts witch trials has been exonerated. The name of Elizabeth Johnson Jr. is now cleared thanks to the effort of an area teacher in her 8th grade civics class. Johnson was accused of witchcraft in 1692, one of more than 200 other women and men in Salem. 19 were eventually hanged, while 4 others died in prison. Johnson was to be executed at age 22, but her life was spared by the governor at the time. Teacher Carrie Lapierre took note of Johnson's case after reading other accused names that had been cleared, but not Johnson's. Over the last few years, Lapierre's 8th graders petitioned state lawmakers and just recently were successful in getting an amendment attached to the state budget. It adds Johnson's name to an existing 1957 resolution that exonerates other witches.
Pretty neat.
300 years. Wow.
That's a long time.
It is.
We've got some thunderstorms out there right now, but the good news is we may have more thunderstorms on Monday and Tuesday, dropping our temperatures actually into the upper 80s. But then, wouldn't you know it, the heat comes right back by the time we move into next weekend, and that extends all the way into early next week with hot weather continuing.
Leonard, well, we told you Pittsburgh Little League advances at the Midwest Regional Tournament. They'll play Monday. Webb City's back in action tomorrow facing Fargo, North Dakota.
Well, sounds good. That's our time for now. Remember, we're always on at KOAMNewsNow.com and the KOAM News Now app. Thanks for making us part of your night, and we hope you have a good one.